The lights are on and they go out. The race gets underway and it's a great start by Ryan Yarrow from pole position. Not such a good start by Clint Newman alongside him on the grid. There's one of the Cup 200 cars on the grass off the line, but it's Yarrow that's going to lead, and Clint Newman goes through the gravel, so too does Dan Clues. Both of them heading backwards down the order as a result of that, joining right in the middle of the field. So that's gifted Ryan Yarrow a very big lead indeed as they head through the first few corners, and off they go down towards Tower. That was Mike Whiteman-Haywood, wasn't it? It was pulling off, I think, in his Cup 200 car that was off the grass, onto the grass right at the start. There's the 33 car. That's the car in second place, I think, of Daniel Ashby. He's got the 72 of Jonathan McGill just behind him. But Ryan Yarrow here has been gifted a big lead with two of his main rivals going off at the first corner.
Yeah, 100%. And you could also see that Dan Clues into the first corner there. He saw that car coming up his inside and literally had to just jump out of the corner. So obviously very good reactions there from Dan Clues. But us is shame, obviously they've both just dropped down the order. And Yarrow, yeah, has just been gifted a massive, massive lead.
No, Osbaldeston, you can see there in the 24 Mattel, just ahead of Dan Clues actually. He didn't make a great start either, so he's dropped back down the order. And this has left the way clear for Ryan Yarrow, which if he gets his head down and shows the pace that he did yesterday, he could clear off and have a dominant win here. His rivals will be trying to put a stop to that. They're coming through towards the end of the first lap of the race. It's Yarrow that's leading. Ashby is second. In third place at the minute is number 72, Jonathan McGill. Fourth is 44, Carl Austin. Then it's 24, Noah Osbaldeston in fifth, and Dan Clues in sixth place with Richard Webb. You can see in the middle of the shot there, the best of the Cup 200 cars, number 88. In eighth place is Clues and Osbaldeston go side by side in the two Mattels, and this time it's Osbaldeston that gets a wheel into the gravel trap.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little bit of room there, racing room between them, but fantastic overtake there from Dan Clues. So obviously making sure that he's just leaving a little bit of room there for Noah, but he obviously needs to get back on the podium positions to go after that championship fight that he's currently, realistically, is going to be in for the rest of the year.
Watching there, the 28 car, that is Charlie Sladden, his second season racing that car. I think it's his third year altogether in Sports 1000. He was doing battle there with Richard Webb, trying to get ahead of the Cup 200 car. Here's Dan Clues trying to make another move up on the inside of Carl Austin and put Sonny in, but Carl Austin closes that opportunity off. So this is for fourth position now. And it's, a mistake there from Austin. Is that going to give Clues a chance? They come down into the complex. They're side by side on the inside line. Was Clues, but he's actually lost out as a result of that. And Osbaldeston has gone back up his inside. He's got to watch out for Clint Newman in the 42 car trying to come through as well.
100%. That was fantastic and very aware driving from Osbaldeston there. He saw that little mistake. He saw that Dan Clues had to just get out of it, and he just took the advantage. But now obviously these three going basically side by side down the start-finish straight. Dan Clues is in a precarious position here. He's not quite in enough position to overtake Noah. As I say that, he goes past him. So ignore what I'm saying. He's basically still side by side into Hawthorne and just about makes the move.
And Charlie Slatton there closing in on them as well, the 22-year-old from Benfleet, but it's Clues, the 2020 F1000 champion, that's at the head of this group once again. Down towards Tower they go. Ryan Yarrow, by the way, after 2 laps is leading by nearly 5.8 seconds, a fantastic margin that he has. There's 87, Tom Johnston and his Mattel up on the inside of our Cup 200 leader, Richard Webb. He also holds the lap record in both Cup 200 and Sports 1000.
Yes, absolutely. And Richard Webb has built himself a little lead over John Cutmore as well, the second place man in Cup 200. So he's got a bit of a lead to look after at the moment. He's fighting out with the Sports 1000 cars, and obviously he can just have a bit of fun up towards there. We're currently looking at second, third, fourth, and here we go up the inside. I believe that was number 44 of Carl Austin on Jonathan McGill. Here we go. Dan Clues is getting in the action once again. He's gone wide, and that allows Clint Newman coming right at the inside, and Dan Clues has lost out once again.
He has, and it's a change there because it's Newman now moving up a position. Clues has dropped back to 7th on that lap. Osbaldeston managed to get ahead of Austin, and now so too has Clint Newman. So he's gone up to 5th position as they went into Clervaux that time. Austin in 6th, Clues in 7th, and Sladden in 8th place. So great scrap going on here. And as they head down towards Tower Corner, I can see clues there in the slipstream of Carl Austin. He's going to the driver's right into Tower Bend, and he's got the car up the inside, and nicely done. He takes the place away, goes up to what will be 6th place now, but it's been a bit of an up and down kind of race so far for Dan Clues, our race winner from yesterday.
100%, he's going up and down like a yo-yo at the moment, and all of this is allowing Ryan Yarrow to just build that lead. He's not having to think about his championship rivals, and obviously he won the championship last year. Yes, it didn't go exactly how he wanted to. This is the result that he needs to get across the line. All while he's doing that, behind them, obviously, and we see Carl Austin just go off, and that allows number 28, Charlie Sladden, to just go and slice straight through. So that brings Charlie Sladden up into 7th place, behind now Dan Clues.
Ryan Yarrow crosses the line for a 4th time, building this lead. Still Daniel Ashby in 2nd place, although I think he's going to come under threat from Noah Osbaldeston before too much longer, because Osbaldeston on the exit of the hairpin has dragged past Jonathan McGill now. Newman's up to 5th, Clues 6th, Sladden 7th. Carl Austin is the one that's lost out really, back down to 8th place. There's McGill, and off goes Matthew Manette. He spins out of 15th position in the number 23 Spire. The car run by Team Secura Engineering, who's going pretty well in 15th, but has just had a moment on the grass, but has recovered.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he was saying that he had some issues in qualifying yesterday, so it doesn't look to be the cleanest weekend of his life. So hopefully, obviously, in the race later on, he can get a little bit more luck.
Here is Charlie Sladden, who loses it through Tower Bend, and he spins around. That's a full 360, and there's oil coming out of, I think, his car. And I think that was what Carl Austin was indicating by waving his arms. The car is there stranded in the middle of the circuit. He's going to pull it off onto the grass, I think, realising that all is not well. So there'll be yellow flags, and indeed we have a red flag. Race being stopped there. Red flag coming out with that car, we think, having put some fluid down as well. It now stopped in a pretty prone position just on the inside of the corner at Tower, with smoke still emanating from underneath the engine cover. So hope all is well. I think Charlie's going to try if he can to see what's going on, if he can get the engine cover off. And then the revs start to rise, and the race for 5 minutes gets underway now. And it's a decent start from Yarrow, but actually Daniel Ashby makes the best of the starts in his red Spire. Is he going to lead down into the first corner? It's Yarrow on the inside, of course, and yes, he does move into the lead of the race. Clues, though, got a good start, didn't he? I think he's up to 3rd place on the race start, which is an improvement from his grid position. Yet there he is in the number 2 car, the pale blue, dark blue and sort of orangey red coloured car, and that is not necessarily as far back as we might have expected him to be. He's challenging, I can see, Daniel Ashby down towards Tower Corner, and this of course is where there is the slippery surface, so let's just see if everyone does get through there okay. I think it looks like they probably have done. And Clues has made it through to 2nd place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yarrow does not have it for the rest of the race by himself. So Dan Clues has managed to get past those cars, and he managed that restart to perfection. He waited for the lights to go out. He got that slipstream down the start-finish straight. He got underneath some of the cars, and then got past 2nd place, Dan Ashby, into just right behind Ryan Yarrow. So that's exactly what he needed to do, and now it's a fight to the end of the race. 3.5 minutes, here we go. We've got Ryan Yarrow and we've got Dan Clues right behind him. Anything can happen with these two.
Yeah, I don't think Clint Newman there, the number 42 car, made a particularly good start. He's there in 6th position, but he's had to sort of fight his way past one of the Cup 200 class cars. They come through to complete lap 1 with just under 3.5 minutes of the race left to go. They will get 3 more laps out of this. It's Yarrow leading by 0.7 of a second from Clues, in 54 from 2. 33 Daniel Ashby is 3rd, 44 Carl Austin is 4th, then Noah Osbaldeston is 5th, Clint Newman back up to 6th position, watching some of the battles going on a bit further down the order. That's the 69 car of Ian Hutchinson getting a place away from, I think that's Wayne Armstrong in number 83 for 12th.
Yeah, by the looks of it, you can just see Wayne Armstrong just going into Hawthorne with the back completely sliding out of control. He's just lost a little bit of grip there. And we've got somebody pulling on the infield.
It's Richard Webb. Yeah, Richard Webb in the 88 Cup 200 car was leading that class. He's out of the race.
Yes, it's a bit of a shame for him. Obviously, those on the live stream can't see that, but we can see him literally stop right outside of our commentary box window. In the meantime, we've got number 24, which is Noah Osbaldeston, just trying to get around Carl Austin, but Carl Austin is not making it very easy for him. He's also stuck behind Dan Ashby, and in the meantime, MK, thank you, Cup 200. There we go. We could just see him just getting back underway again.
Yeah, Richard Webb thought he'd retired, and then thought, oh, hold on, no, this is going to work. Turned around and rejoined the circuit.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's a bit of contact there. That's now Osbaldson trying to get up the inside of Carl Austin, and there's a bit of bumping and boring, and that's not what we're used to seeing in Sports 1000. We've got Clint Newman trying to get involved in all of that as well. Now he's up the inside of the 24 car, almost a bit more side-to-side contact there between those two as they head down the start to finish straight. These are the three in 4th, 5th and 6th positions. They're not helping their podium prospects particularly here, because they're allowing Dan Ashby and Dan Clues and Ryan Yarrow to get away a little bit. There's the 87 car of Tom Johnson. It's side by side a bit further back. That's Ian Hutchinson again, and he's still in that battle. This time, though, he's getting past John Cutmore for a position inside the top 10.
Yeah, 100%. And Noah Osbaldson, I wonder if he's put magnets on his car overnight, because he just seemed to attract drivers. It's central. Here we go. Once again, Noah Osbaldson just trying to defend his position against Clint Newman, while also trying to have a look at Carl Austin as well. And you can just see, there we go, Richard Webb has had to get out of the car, and he has pulled up just going through the complex. So imagine yellow flags, but they shouldn't need to recover that before the end of the race.
Okay, here is up the inside now Osbaldson having a look at the inside of Carl Austin. There wasn't really a gap there, was there? And he didn't get through on the exit of the corner. Clint Newman trying to get alongside him as well. And now Osbaldson's off on the grass. And that's kicking up the dust, but it doesn't seem to have cost him any momentum. They are now coming into this yellow flag zone, of course, so onto the brakes, no overtaking there. And they do follow one another up to the point at which they get the green flag, I think. Up to the line goes Ryan Yarrow. He gets the last lap board, and he is, 2 seconds ahead of Dan Clues as he goes on to the final lap. But the battle really to watch is the one for 4th position. Cars there are making their way down into Clervaux corner, and it's Osbaldson up the inside of Newman. There was a slight touch there, and it's Newman that's gone off through the gravel trap. He gets back onto the circuit. Meanwhile, it is the 54 car, I should say, of Ryan Yarrow now that is heading along the back straight towards Tyre for the final time. 2 seconds he led by at the start of the lap. It looks like he's got a comfortable advantage here. Here's this battle a bit further back. It's Carl Austin in 4th place. They have closed in on Daniel Ashby. He was 1.3 seconds ahead of them at the start of this final lap. And now it's Clint Newman challenging Carl Austin, and not too far behind. Noah Osbaldson just behind Carl Austin, and not too far behind Daniel Ashby. And there's contact, and there's a spin, and that's the bodywork of Austin that goes flying off. He does continue despite that spin. He might even retain the place on Clint Newman. No, he doesn't quite, but I think he did just have a nudge there, possibly from the 24 car behind him, the teenager in his first race meeting in the Sports 1000. So now Noah Osbaldson, there is a black and white driving standards flag going out to somebody out there, but Ryan Yarrow meanwhile is up to the line and up to the checker flag, and it's his first win of the season in the Nankang Tyre Sports 1000 Championship. Number 2 Dan Clues is in 2nd place. Number 33 Daniel Ashby is going to hold on to 3rd position. From Osbaldson in 4th, Clint Newman 5th, despite that spin and losing the front bodywork. Carl Austin, number 44, takes 6th position. Number 15, Naeem Hack, comes through in 7th. Tom Johnston, number 87, is 8th. 69, Ian Hutchinson is 9th. That's because there is a penalty applied, I think, to Jonathan McGill's time for possibly a jump start. John Cutmore wins the Cup 200 class from Wayne Armsden, but a dramatic final lap of the race. Here's that instant. It's Osbaldson just behind Carlton. Yeah, just a faint tap, I think, to spin Austin around. The air gets underneath the front bodywork. The bodywork goes flying off. But it's a nice 360, and he's soon back up to speed, and he wasn't far off, keeping Clint Newman at bay. But Newman it was that did get through to take 5th position in the end. So the cars making their way around on the slowing down lap there. We can see the 23 car of Matthew Minette. He's about to head into pit lane. Let's have a look at the results then of the first race of the afternoon, the second race of the weekend for the Nankang Tyre Sports 1000 Championship. It was a 4-lap race, the restart, a win for number 54 Ryan Yarrow in his Spire GT3. He beat number 2 Dan Clues by 2.3 seconds. Third place, that went the way of number 33 Daniel Ashby. Fourth to number 24 Noah Osbaldson. Fifth was 42 Clint Newman, 6th 44 Carl Austin, 7th number 15 Naeem Hack, 8th was 87 Tom Johnston, 9th was 69 Ian Hutchinson, and completing the top 10 was number 72 Jonathan McGill. In 11th position, winning the Cup 200 class, was number 98 John Cutmore from 83 Wayne Armsden, with Stephen Dean and Stephen Hullock 13th and 14th. 15th went the way of number 23 Matthew Manette, and he was the last of the finishers, with Richard Webb pulling off in the MK Cup 200 car. So second race for the Nankang Tyre Sports 1000 Championship later on. That will be their third race of the weekend. That's due off at around about 5 to 3. That'll be our last sprint race of the day before the Takiwa Club Enduro Championship. Coming up in a moment, we've got the first of 2 single-seater races today, the Sustained Fuels Formula V Championship. That will be followed by the F1000s. Then it's tin top action from the VSG Crypto Clio Sport Championship, and then the JDM Plates Mazda 7s. They produced some excellent racing yesterday. And there's the walking bodywork of number 44, Carl Austin. I think there's a marshal behind there somewhere. And then the Nankang Tyre Sports 1000 Championship have their second race, say, a little bit later on today. Well, Kieran has hot-footed it down to the pit lane, and I can see that the drivers heading down the pit lane now. I think it looks like all of the top 3 probably have now stopped out in the pit lane, and they are ready to speak to Kieran Mogg.
Well, after an amazingly hectic second race of the weekend, our first race of the day, we've got all of the winners down here. I'm going to have a quick chat with the overall winner, Ryan Yarrow. Ryan, yesterday it didn't go exactly to plan, but you can't ask much more from that one.
No, it's always interesting when there's a red flag or something of that nature, because it's easy to fluff a start or something, or the clutch could go or whatever. But yeah, I don't really know what happened in the first corner, because I got a good start, and then when I came out of the complex, all the cars that I thought would be behind me weren't. So I don't know what happened, but yeah, I'm just pleased to right the wrongs yesterday, because I've never been as fast as this and been driven so badly. So yeah, I'm quite relieved more than anything. Yeah,
100%. I mean, you definitely had the pace yesterday, and we saw that again obviously today. So that's got to give you some confidence going into the race later on. Yeah.
I mean, the biggest, the most difficult thing is if you can't get on the pace. But when you're fast and you're just making mistakes that you can go, right, well, I know what that is, I need to not do it again, that's fine. So yeah, when you're fast, you can kind of sort it out, you just got to calm down. And I think the anticipation of racing again after not driving the car for like 5 months is a bit much for me. So yeah, dead pleased, thank you.
Congratulations on the win.
Cheers.
Cheers, thank you very much. Now we'll speak to our second place man, Dan Clues. Dan, boy, you had to work for that one.
I did a bit, yeah. I got sort of mired in the middle for quite a while, which is all a bit just really horrible and chaotic, to be perfectly honest. But after the red flag, so okay, well we got a chance here. We can get it off the line. I made an absolute beaut of a start, and then managed to pass Dan down the back straight. And after that, Ryan just sneaking away. So I'm quite happy to settle for second at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, at the start of the race, obviously, had a bit of an incident where you went a little bit into the gravel as well. Could you talk about what happened down there? Yeah,
Clint and I went into the first corner side by side, and Clint does what Clint does and took us both out again. So it goes on season after season. We've all had it's supposedly been addressed, and then nothing changes. So just quite disappointed, to be honest.
Well, you got one more chance to correct it later on.
Certainly, yes. Yeah, we'll be trying to catch Ryan in the next one.
100%. Look forward to it. Thank you very much. Now we'll speak to Dan Ashby in third. Oh, Dan, there you are. Now you had one heck of a restart there.
Yeah. Thank you. One heck of a race. I don't quite know what happened. I've seen bits of car around the track and obviously all the oil everywhere. But yeah, I was hoping to do well in the Sporting Cup this year, and I've ruined it now, haven't I? So yeah, I don't really know what to say, to be honest. Lost for words.
No, it's a good loss for words. Obviously, you've got a race later on today. What is your mentality going into that one? Obviously, you had a bit of a surprise podium for this one. What are you thinking going into later?
Just hope we get a decent start and no one ploughs into the side of me on the first corner, I guess.
Well, we look forward to seeing you out later on then.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Now we'll speak to our Cup 200 winner, John Cutmore. John, obviously you were minting it with just about everyone there.
Yeah, it's a tricky place to be in these Cup cars, to be fair, but I'm not sure I deserve the win, to be fair.
Well, to be fair, in the restart, it looked like you were, I think, 4th overall, I think it was at one point, so you were pretty high up.
Oh, I've got no idea. It was carnage in that first corner again, as it always is, but, you know, we finished it and we've done all right.
Absolutely. And with the race later on today, expecting a win, do you think?
Not if Richard's car's working.
No problem. Well, good luck later on then.
Righto, thank you.
Cheers, thank you very much.